I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. Cases of COVID-19 continue to rise across the nation, and Flagler County is not immune. Flagler County Health Officer Bob Snyder.
Positivity rate is up 7.5%. Remember, I was reporting it was in the low 6% ranges over the last couple of weeks. When you take a look at a 7-day trend, maybe going back 2 months ago, 50 to 60 cases per week positive, and now it's in the 120, 130 range.
Snyder tells WNZF there's been an uptick in cases affecting school children and educators as well. 23
students this week in 8 different schools and numerous locations, so no clusters, so to speak, but activity larger than usual. The majority are asymptomatic.
For kids who are asymptomatic, Snyder says the symptoms and suffering can be the same as it is in adults. But hope is on the horizon. Vaccine planning is underway in Flagler County.
We can expect the first phase of vaccines to be for healthcare workers, law enforcement, first responders, as has been reported. And then that second wave of vaccine is going to be a broad distribution, everyone in our community and statewide. And we can expect that second quarter of the spring months, so March through May is the hope.
Snyder says they're going to get the Pfizer vaccine, which requires ultra-cold storage.
We do have freezers, by the way. Jonathan Lord, if you're listening, thank you so much. I called Jonathan today. He made my day. He's arranged for the Whitney Labs and Marineland to give us access to their freezers so that we can keep these ultra-cold.
The latest jobless numbers are heading in the right direction. John Arking takes a look.
On Friday, the Florida Department of Economic Development announced that Flagler County's unemployment rate declined for the 4th consecutive month to 5.7%. Greg Blasé is president and CEO of the Palm Coast Flagler Regional Chamber.
We believe this is a strong indicator that those who lost their jobs during the pandemic are finding employment opportunities, specifically when we think about the holiday hiring season ramping up. When we look at the numbers, it shows that there are 363 Flagler County residents that went back to work last month, but we still have 1,938 fewer jobs in Flagler County than this time last year. The impact of the global pandemic on our economy is still being felt, but I'm happy to report that we are trending in the right direction.
Blasé says the approaching holiday season should also have a positive effect.
I expect you'll see the unemployment rate continue to drop as we go and take a look at the November and December numbers. Hiring is picking up. Workers are being hired usually by the retailers and restaurants. We have 2 things working in our favor. The first being the holiday hiring season, and the second being the reopening of Florida's economy. And when you look at Flagler County, 18.3% of all jobs in Flagler County are in the hotel and restaurant industry. So as people continue to go back out to eat, as travel continues to happen, you're going to see some people come back to work, which will only help support a further reduction in the unemployment rate as we look forward.
Despite that good news, Blasé says more than 2,600 Flagler County residents are still unemployed, and that signals a need for more progress. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arking.
If you think COVID won't happen to you, listen to this.
I run, I walk, I'm very active. And let me tell you, folks, listeners out there, that COVID kicked my butt.
Roy Seeger is the director of the Flagler County Executive Airport. He contracted COVID-19 and was laid up for about 3 weeks. He said that breathing was one of the most difficult things to do.
The biggest thing for me was the breathing, and the coughing was so bad. Coughed for almost four days straight.
Seeger said that he had a chest x-ray that confirmed that he had pneumonia on top of COVID-19, and you won't believe where he said he contracted the highly contagious COVID. He said that he was diligent about wearing his mask, but
I got it at a doctor's office.
Seeger said that if there's anybody who thinks that COVID-19 is not real, he can attest that it is.
What we do know, it's real, and it does affect people differently.
To hear all of the interview with Roy Seeger, download the Flagler Radio app and then go to the Free for All Friday podcast. Tomorrow, Roy Seeger talks about what's going on at the Flagler County Executive Airport. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
The longest and most super scenic garage sale in Florida came through Flagler County over the weekend. Karen Johnson has the story.
The 12th annual 100-mile-long garage sale along A1A took place over the weekend. Danielle Anderson, Friends of A1A Byway Administrator, says the collaboration included Florida's scenic highways to bring this fun event to the local communities. This year's sale spanned the A1A Scenic and Historic Coastal Byway through St. John's and Flagler and Halifax Heritage Byway in Volusia, allowing shoppers to experience 3 Florida counties with a delightful mix of locations to stop and shop. And if you'd like to get involved for the 13th event, you can.
It's once a year. It's the third Saturday in November every year. We'll open registration next year in February. So if you want to do it, or if you want your site to be a community site, just get on early so you can be on the map.
This year brought the return of the ultimate A1A pop-up biz experience with participating restaurants along the A1A coastal corridor offering specials, promotions, and deals. Now you can shop and dine your way along the east coast of Florida. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.